to discover Eduardo Vasquez, aka Dreamer's Path. Here, your host, the one and only. Um, I'm doing this live video today because I was kind of busy and kind of procrastinating and a little bit of both. So I didn't put the Colterris video together completely just yet, but it is on the making. However, I also thought that I would like to express myself and my experience at Colterris on a live video, just in regards of my emotion on how it all went from the moment I departed Denver to the moment I arrived in Palisades and stay over the weekend. And I really want to do that by you know opening another bottle of Colterris, being my favorite wine, the Malbec. Um, that is actually what it inspired me to go visit the winery and see how they produce the wines and see the site, the landscape, um, the vineyards, and you know the um, the agriculture, because it is also known for not just growing wine. It is a very small wine production region, but it is an up and coming region, and I wanted to see that. And going back to the agriculture, the Palisades region also grows peaches, orchids, cherries, and that also kind of enhances some of the wine, and I'll say why in just a second or in a few minutes. Um, but yes, this is a 2016 Malbec Colterris, and let's open it. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday wherever you are, whatever time you are in right now, or I hope that you're just having a wonderful day in general whenever you're watching this video. Very, very deep colors, or very deep color, dark violet, like a plump, very plumpish color, but it's beautiful. It needs to breathe for a second, I would say. I smell high concentration of alcohol. I would say 14.5. Let's see if I am right. And it is 14.3. So we'll definitely let this Malbec breathe for just a second before we take a big swirl and spit it into the bucket to just kind of like coat the palate first. But so I left Friday, June, what was it, 20, 28, something like that. I was there Friday and Saturday, drove from Denver, Colorado to Palisades, Colorado, east, west, going over the mountains, and it is a 4 hour or nearly 4 hour drive. It took me 4 hours because I stopped for gas and I like taking photos and all that kind of stuff. But this is not California region where the drive from San Francisco to Napa Valley is about an hour and a half and is more populated and there is more to see, and you don't have to drive 4 hours. Here I just felt, and I love it because I love Colorado. I absolutely love Colorado, and I love the amount of changes you get from north to south and east to west, and it just changes. It's very pristine landscape, and I went through valleys and the mountain. As I exited Denver, I went over the mountains. I think the highest elevation as I got up, it was like 10,000 feet, and then over into the valley through Vail, where there's major skiing. Then passing through. It's one of my favorite parts of the on the I-70. You get into inside the canyon, and I forgot the name of the it's White River National Park, if I'm not mistaken. That area is it's so gorgeous to go through as you get into as you head to the Grand Junction Palisades area. And then when you exit that, you get into some valleys, and then you start seeing the canyon formations, and some of the mesas all around. First, it's like some red soils, and just dry, 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 and then it gets into that super dry canyon, gold, sandy soil, and it's just totally different than when you exit Denver and you just have like this high peaks of mountains that you have pines and green, and then near what is it called, near Fisco? No, not Frisco. It's on your way to Breckenridge, but you have some of the 14ers, and that's pretty impressive as well. And I love the mountains, but being next to the canyons, by the mesas, it's completely incredible as well. So with all of that, I experienced the drive, and I thought that was just fascinating. And if you're an outdoor kind of person, but you also enjoy wine, heading to the Palisades region to tour wineries, while trying to get a hike or some rock climbing in, or just whatever the area offers for outdoors that you might be interested in, it is completely worth the drive. And for me, I was on a mission. I was on a mission to go experience, first of all, Colterris Winery, because when I tasted the Malbec, which I've also had tasted the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Cabernet Franc, the Merlot, and their Cabernet Rosé, I was impressed by all of them because of the quality. It is great wine that is locally grown, and it's great quality. Scott and Teresa, who are the winery owners, Scott studied viticulture in Germany, and while I was hanging out with them on Friday evening, he pinpointed certain areas where he would say like, hey, notice this temperature right here where we are, and as we're driving, you will notice how it will change, and then how it's going to be completely different right here, and then how it's going to come back into this same temperature that we're in right now. And so that's going into the whole microclimate of wine growing. And Teresa and Scott, they take huge part in the production of winemaking, of their winemaking, and the results, at least for me, drew me. The Malbec was quite incredible, given that we're in Colorado and Malbecs have a almost, I would say, pristine reputation of better growing in the Argentina region of the world or country, specifically like the Mendoza area. But here is a Malbec that is Colorado grown, and from the winemakers to the wine growers and the wine owners, everyone taking part making great quality wine. It has a nice medium to heavy weight on the palate. You can definitely get some blackberries, cherries for sure, and I'll tell you guys why cherries as well. Um, this wine, mm, it's beautiful, it's elegant, and I'll also say why you also get the notes of cherries. So another thing I um, that I you know that I know from Colterris is that where the Malbecs are growing right now, it's now they're also, or I mean where the Malbec is grown right now, they used to grow cherries in that location, and that definitely enhances the earth, the soil that it's planted in, and they planted the Malbec there because um, once the cherries are done giving their fruits, you cannot replant another cherry um, tree there. It will not grow. So they decided to go ahead and plant a Malbec. Another wine I got the opportunity to try, which it excuse me, it just released. It's the 2016 Petit Verdot. Where I work at Argonaut, they do not carry it at the moment. But since I went to the winery and did this wine tasting, we decided to carry carry the Colterris Petit Verdot, which I was very fascinated with. While in the Palisades, I um, I went for a 9 mile hike in the Palisades upper rim loop, and it goes all over. You start, in the bottom of the valley, near I-70's exit, and then you go up probably about a mile and a half, and up an inclination. And once you get to the top, you're in top of this is the valley, this is the mesa. You're in top of the mesa, and you're walking all pretty much through the edge, and you get to see the Palisades and some of the Grand Junction area, and of course other top of the mesas that are nearby. And from above, looking below to the Palisades, you see all this agriculture of green. And once the agriculture is it's done, it becomes that desert, that high elevation, rugged valley, desert soil type, and I find it to be quite beautiful and just so like fascinating. With like it was incredible. Once I got to the around the 5th mile mark, I started getting into the backcountry of the mesa. And it is all plain pretty much, and there's not many huge trees to cover under. It was very sunny, very little clouds, and it was getting hot for sure. I started probably around 7:45, 8 in the morning, finished around 12:30, 12:45 p.m. And it was 9 miles. And by the time I was finishing and coming back down, I would say it was reaching like 90 to 93 degrees, 95 perhaps, I'm not quite sure, but definitely in the 90s. This Malbec is beautiful, and the color I love the color. Uh, I'm not a full expert in wine, and you are all discovering wine with me as well. Um, but if I were to say, you could easily keep this wine. It's a 2016, and we're in 2018 right now. I would say that you can still have this wine for another 5 to 10 years if you store it pretty well, and the characters would just open up even nicely, for sure. Even the Petit Verdot, absolutely. They also produce, some honey as well near the vineyards. Uh, where I stay, they hosted me at their guest house, and where I stay around the back, they have like some bees that producing some are producing honey, and right next to that you have the Petit Verdot growing, and that's pretty cool. They have roses planted, they have other peaches around it, so that's pretty fascinating. All kinds of things enhancing the soil, and Mother Nature producing beautiful juices and fruits. Um, and the High family, Teresa and Scott, they were just extraordinarily welcoming, and I really that just really enhanced the experience of the culture of Palisades and exploring it and discovering it. Um, on Saturday evening, after I took a nap from the late morning, early afternoon hike, they recommended for me to go have dinner at Bin 707 in Grand Junction, and I am glad I did. It's a very modern style restaurant, not huge menu. I would say almost chef to tables style, but super friendly. Very, very friendly staff, and very knowledgeable. Um, they hooked me up with dessert from. They make the cluster all house made, and the peaches are locally grown, and it had a nice scoop of ice cream, I believe, on top of it, and it just made it so savory to end my weekend trip in Palisades, and I had a wonderful time at Bin 707. So cheers to them, and cheers to Colterris Winery for hosting me over the weekend, allowing me to explore their winery and the surrounding area, suggesting me to go and venture into this beautiful hike, allowing me to photograph from below and from above the landscape that surrounds the Palisades. Now, just to change the conversation a little bit, I printed a few photos from my iPhoneography. It is 4 exactly. I went to the office here in my building to pick up my package today, and I opened it, and I would say that I am extremely pleased with 3 out of 4 of the prints. Now, it is all an experiment, and yet one of them has a designated place, and today I went to a restaurant where I met the owner, and it's the name of the restaurant is called Racino's here in Denver. I was referred by my manager to go and introduce myself, and I wanted to speak to a manager today in regards about that, and I ended up meeting the owner being extremely impressed with the story behind it, my photography, and I had the new prints in my car, so I show him uh, those ones, and he was extremely impressed, especially by one of them. Initially, that was that I showed him over my phone, and initially, he was impressed by the business card and the photograph on the business card. Then he was impressed by the photo on on my phone that I show him, and then I told him that I had this prints in my car, and that I would show him if he had a minute, and he said yes. So I went and I got the photos in my car, and the one that I was that he liked, like I said, from the phone, he enjoyed it, but rapidly or really quick disregarded, because he was caught by the attention of another one, and I'll tell you which one it is. Let's see. So I will show you guys the first photo, and that is how they came in, and I'm leaving it as that. And when I saw it, the colors look very vivid, but I was not impressed because the pixelation almost looks kind of distorted. It makes it look a little bit blurry, and it was going to be a gift for someone, but now it's part of just the experiment, and I need to go back and remake it or change some things around and reprint it and see if the pixelation is fixable, or if just changing some things around in the color can change that. But otherwise, it's an amazing photo. It just starts to become a little bit distorted, at least in this size of a print. From your angle, it looks phenomenal, and at a distance, it does look quite incredible. Even from my side, like if I stand here, if I leave the picture here and then walk away from a distance, everything looks well defined. It gives it that HD, I would say, illusion, very well detailed in the colors. But when you're here in person, like all of this looks very distorted, and it's not very functional and appealing. So it needs to find a way to not have that distortion. So on to the next one that the owner of the restaurant really enjoyed, and said to me that he would give the business card to the owner of this company that is actually a lawn mowing company. And so this photo is taken just recently in June during Pride weekend here in Denver, and I thought that this would make a wonderful print as one of my first iPhone X photos, because it was Pride weekend here in Denver. I love Denver. I enjoy hanging out here, and I took it on Washington Street and Colfax near X Bar and Argonaut, where I work and specialize in the wine department, among other things. So, which I love. I love working for that store. It's an amazing store, and it's super friendly. So here is the. Let's see here. Here's this one actually. Yeah. So you see, you have the city in the back, and it's it's almost like a fire truck, but it's not, because the owner of the restaurant today told me he knows the owner of this company, and it's a lawn mowing company. So I assume that this truck is what cuts huge trees and whatnot down, but they use it, in the parade, and I really thought that this would be an iconic photo for Denver and representing the Colfax and just the weekend itself. So that is it. And then also this other one, which I am also extremely pleased, is from 2016 iPhone 6, and it is. I'll bring it closer. It is the skyline of Washington, the state of Washington, the city of Seattle, the skyline of the city of Seattle from the ferry as we depart from the city. Pretty much this illusion that I am giving you. And so I captured this with my iPhone 6, and that is some iPhoneography, digital iPhoneography or digital photography done through iPhoneography. Now, to just really end this photography showcase, it is my honor to introduce definitely the first, because this first photo that I show, that's iPhone 6 at the Arches National Park. The next photo that I am honored to disclose today and to bring to you and showcase, it's the first or one of the really first photos I took with the iPhone X when I got it, and then drove for the weekend to Zion National Park and did a wonderful hike. And I think it was the Angels Loop trail, but it was in Zion National Park through the iPhone X, and it is just 10 of 10 of 10 of 10 of 10 out of 10, like just la creme of what technology is enabling me to do through the eye of an iPhone. Simply that. And if the one from Preface it's just incredible work, and the resolution is impeccable, and so is the one from the iPhone 6 of Seattle, a skyline as I go in the ferry. Here is iPhone X first photo at Zion National Park, Thanksgiving 2017. Right there. That is pretty much it. It is the colors, the detail. I mean, you can see how Earth has carved this this path where water runs whenever they actually do get some rain in Zion. But well, detail, the colors. I mean, I wish that you guys were here to see this in person, because the photos are just phenomenal. I mean, even the one that I'm not very impressed by, it's still so powerful. It's I would say that it's fixable. I probably did something during the process of the editing, but all of the rest, especially this one from Zion National Park, is just like mind-blowing. And to have showed it to 4 people today and everyone just going, wow, it's it's really good. So let's see what happens with everything in my photography. And thank you once again for listening to Dreamer's Path, myself, Eduardo Vasquez. Thanks for being here and discover Eduardo Vasquez. I'm trying to make this, short today because it's Friday. Everyone is out and about, and I hope you guys stay tuned for next week's video. That it will be all of Colterris and Palisades experience all put together. I promise it will be there. Please leave your comments below, your likes, share my videos on my channel. Tell me how or what I should improve from these videos as I produce them. Criticism is open criticism is allowed, so please don't be intimidated. Leave your comments below. Again, here Friday evening, early evening, enjoying a glass of Colterris Malbec 2016. Thanks for being here. See you guys soon. Find me on Instagram at dreamers_path, and enjoy the photography I'm sharing right now of Colterris Winery, and check out all the previous adventures I've taken. Thank you. Hasta luego. Y voy a tratar de hacer un video en español pronto aquí en YouTube para que también me conozca la gente hispana que también les gusta el vino y que les gusta las aventuras, los viajes y la fotografía, cultura y la expresión. Muchas gracias por verme. Soy Eduardo Vázquez y bienvenidos a Descubre Eduardo Vázquez, Discover Eduardo Vázquez, aka Dreamer's Path. See you guys soon.